Hello, this is Liliana Ospina, your host for Latinos in Michigan TV. So we're here tonight to answer a recent question posed by a follower and to follow up on last week's video regarding the discussion about the present tariffs on China. In case you missed it, John is my husband, who I invited to discuss economic events that I thought it might concern you. He holds a BBA and an MBA and studies economics. Let's start with the tariffs. So I know it's only been a week, but has there been any change in the trading situation between the US and China in the last week?
Actually, there has, and it's been exactly what I figured, or what most economists have since written about that they figured would happen, and that is that the tariffs that I said seemed small in retaliation have grown from just $2 billion to $50 billion in a way to attack back at the United States. So this is like the opening salvo of a trade war. And this is what Trump said we could win. And as I said, there's no winning a trade war. That's a bit of a misnomer. Both people, or I should say both economies are going to suffer. The people that live within those economies are going to suffer. In fact, they're already saying that Japan is also going to suffer heavily because of the trading situation between the United States, China, and Japan. So there are some unintended consequences there that we're actually going to be damaging the relations with Japan as well, possibly damaging their economy.
Okay, moving on. I was recently approached by a follower of the channel, and he told me that he was interested in learning about inflation. He's from Venezuela. So he watched the economic situation in his country, and he wants you to tell him more about what inflation or hyperinflation is.
So to put it simply, inflation is what happens as the money grows worth less and less over time. So that's a normal part of an economy. The United States Federal Reserve controls that portion of our economy, and they do that through multiple means. Generally, you want to keep inflation fairly low. We try to keep it to around, let's just say, 2%. It depends, that inflation rate depends on any number of circumstances. But you do not want what's called hyperinflation, which is what's actually occurring in Venezuela right now. That's when the rate of the change is beyond the control of the government, really. At some point, several months ago, it hasn't been recent, may have been even longer than that, it got to the point where even if you had enough money to buy what you wanted, even if it was available to buy, which it usually isn't, you usually don't have enough money to begin with, what ends up happening is it would take so much money in physical money, like we might carry a $100 bill. It's gotten to the point where you simply can't carry that much money. So people are having to make multiple trips to the bank. Now that was a while back. That's a sure sign that you're beginning to suffer from hyperinflation. Last I read, the inflationary rate is somewhere around, I believe, 13,000% now in Venezuela. You take some place like the United States, just round it off to 2%. So you can see there's a huge problem there. They're not the first country to suffer from this. This tends to happen as the country prints more money to solve the problem. And of course, as there's more of something, and in this case, bolivars, their currency, it pushes that value even lower. So they print more money. And that's oversimplifying the problem, but essentially that's what's going on. It's difficult to just replace the money because, number one, that means you lose control of it. But they simply couldn't replace money either. There's been talk of, well, they hate the United States, but one of the most robust currencies in the world, if not the most robust currency, is the dollar. So if they tried to replace it with the dollar, what would probably happen is something called Gresham's Law would take effect. Essentially, imagine you had a currency that was very valuable and you knew that it was steady. You're going to hold on to that currency no matter what. The currency that continuously goes bad, you're going to continue to get rid of and cycle through as quickly as you can. So the second you get that bolivar, you'll spend it, because literally later that day, it's going to be worth less than it is right now. So you're just burning through money as quickly as you can, because you don't want to hold on to it. And any good money that you get, you hold on to. And that's what they say is the bad money chasing out the good money. There's really no easy way for a country to step out of this problem. It's going to require both the government stepping up and stopping the printing of money, amongst an awful lot of other things that are going to have to happen, like actual laws that help people retain money when they make money that they haven't been willing to do. So the chances of something like that happening are very, very slim. And maybe even more difficult, the people that you are governing have to have faith that that currency is going to be worth something in the future. And at this point, would you? No, probably not. So that being said, it's going to be really hard to stop something like this. And people are going to do an awful lot of suffering until this finds its way through the system. It could take a very long time, and things will continue to deteriorate in Venezuela until that happens.
Thank you for watching, and if you want us to talk about a specific subject or have a specific question, send us an email or follow us in Facebook or in Instagram or subscribe to our channel in YouTube. See you next time.